Welcome to Making Money. This is Matt McCall. Thanks for joining me. It's June 6, 2023, Tuesday morning, coming to you here from Nicaragua. And we got a big show coming up. Not only did Apple hit a new all-time high yesterday in the news of its new headset and then fell on that news, we also had big news this morning coming from the SEC, filing over 100 pages of complaint against Coinbase, hitting the cryptos. We need to dive into that right now. All this and more coming up on Making Money. Over 1 million people around the world follow Wall Street veteran Mark Chaikin for his shockingly accurate stock market predictions. He just gave them a dire warning. Mark says, we're about to witness an historic stock market shakeup that can soon create devastating losses for investors who don't know what's coming. And as a result, you only have 90 days to move your money. You see, Mark spent 50 years on Wall Street at some of the most prestigious hedge funds in history. And he's been on Fox Business and CNBC countless times. But this is a financial story no one else is telling. And if you let this take you by surprise, you could be in for a world of pain. He explains everything in a brand new free report available at rollingcrash2023.com. He includes a name and ticker of a popular stock that could be directly impacted by what's happening as well. Mark warned of the beloved pet brand Chewy before it fell 45%. Tech company C Limited before it fell 66%. Furniture company Wayfair before it fell 76%. Social media favorite Snap before it fell 36%. And food delivery company DoorDash before it fell 65%. Mark even called the Amazon crash before the FANG stock fell 35%. So you'll want to avoid the stock in this new report immediately. Again, simply go to rollingcrash2023.com for your free copy of this new report. Again, this is Matt McCall. Thanks for joining me. As I mentioned, the big news this morning was the SEC filing a complaint against Coinbase. And we're going to get into that in a moment. That's the crux of this show. This is very important. This could have ramifications above and beyond, not just Coinbase, not just cryptocurrencies, but really the markets in general. The way that people view the U.S. markets, the way people view the U.S., the way that they view the government, which has been going sideways for a while now, but we're going to dive into that because, again, I think there's bigger implications here. But of course, we're going to talk about Coinbase stock. We'll talk about Bitcoin, what that means for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies, the actual prices going further. Because I know many of you either have some exposure to cryptocurrencies, may own Coinbase stock. If not, you're very interested in something we need to talk about. But before that, we need to talk about the world's largest company right now, and that is Apple. Apple stock rallied yesterday, hitting nearly $3 trillion valuation, which it did hit months ago. However, it did hit a new all-time price per share high on Monday morning and early afternoon. That is until the big product announcement came out. We all kind of knew they're coming out with this new headset, and they announced the new headset. And I'll tell you, it looked pretty impressive to me. It's called the Vision Pro. It's VR, it's AR. You can control this with both your hands, your eyes, and your voice. It could essentially, in my opinion, eliminate keyboards. And again, this is V1. This is version 1. And I think about the watch when I think about this. The watch came out in 2014. And I think about the watch and what happened since the watch came out and how much has changed. I have right here the newest iteration of the watch. And as far as health purposes and wellness is really why I have it. I think it's unbelievable. For me, keeping up with my calories burned, my heart, you can do the oxygen level on there. And again, I still think we're in early stages of the watch of where it will be as far as wearables, as far as sensors, especially when it comes to healthcare in the future. So when we look at Vision Pro, the headset, the big kind of pushback from investors and from potential users of this was a price. So there was a great clip. It looked like kind of an overflow, maybe. It was an outside venue with a big screen of the announcement of Vision Pro. And when they announced the price of $34.99, it's called $3,500, the crowd went,
Apple Vision Pro starts at $34.99. It will be available.
Holy smokes, that's a lot of money. I thought the same thing. That is quite a bit of money for V1, version 1. I will likely not get it. Maybe I will. I'm 50-50. I'm going to learn more about it. But the bigger thing is I think that after the first version, second, third, fourth, down the years, always gets much better. And Apple takes feedback from its consumers, gets rid of the bugs. And I think they've always done a very good job of that with the phone and with the watch. And I think the same thing will happen with the headset. And I do think this is a game changer. There's a few people out there on Twitter that I follow. Actually, I don't follow this gentleman. I won't name his name because he spoke at our conference last year at Stansberry. I sat 2 people down from him at a speaker's dinner. But he's just kind of making fun of it and saying that it's going to be such a failure. That's a lack of really vision, no pun intended for Vision Pro, but it's a lack of vision, seeing where the future is going. If you truly believe that AR and VR is not a part of the future, boy, you're going to be left behind. It is a part of the future. So again, this may not be the biggest hit, but again, I think it is a great start for Apple. And I think it puts them head and shoulders above Meta, Facebook, and their headset. The Oculus. And so I think it's great. I think this is good. But the stock fell on the news because, again, people thought there might be a little more attractive price. Here's a chart of Apple. As you can see, it rallied to a new all-time high yesterday intraday, then came down, closed off the high and closed down for the day. And again, with about 50 minutes into the trading sessions, and again, about another 0.75% right there. So you can see that the stock has pulled back on that news. So that's where we stand with Apple, but we had to get that out there. Again, actually, real quick, I do want to show 2 really quick charts of Apple because this could be something a little bit more. This could be actually Apple getting ready for a little bit of pullback, but as I mentioned, long-term, this could actually be really good for Apple. So 2 charts I want to show you here. The first one we're taking a look at here, this is going back to late 2014 when the announcement was made for the watch. It didn't come out till 2015, but when the announcement was made, you can see here, 1 year after that announcement, 1 year later, it happened in 2 years later, September 2014, 2 years later, Apple was only up 5.25%. In the same time frame, the S&P was up 11.7. So it about doubled the return of Apple, the S&P did. So it did lag after that. You can see it did rally a little bit on the left-hand side. It's the purple color, and then lagged and came back down. The other thing I want to show you here is this is pullbacks that Apple has had over the years. And the one I want to focus on is kind of the third dip here, right in the middle. And that is a dip, again, after the announcement of the Apple Watch. It actually pulled back about 30% before rallying to a new all-time high. So again, this is, kind of something we've seen before, where this product comes out. It's the biggest product launch in nearly a decade, and it's not as exciting as people thought. So it's buy the rumor, sell the news. They're selling the news. They're a bit disappointed. So it makes complete sense. Apple, as far as I'm concerned, I would not be looking to buy it right here. $3 trillion. Could it be bigger? Yes. I think there's better plays out there. And I think the pullback continues in the near term. Again, nothing here is a buy or sell recommendation, but I think there's a little bit more of pullback. Now let's get into what's going on here with Coinbase and obviously the SEC. Real quick, I'll give you an update on what's happening with Bitcoin on the news. Strangely enough, in the last hour, again, this is around 10:20 or so Eastern time in the morning. It's close to about 26,000 Bitcoin right now. Over the last 24 hours, it's down 3%. But in the last hour, it's actually up nearly 2%. So we're getting a bit of a bounce out of it, believe it or not. Coinbase stock, again, before jumping in the news, I'll update you now, and then I'll update you again before we sign off. Coinbase stock was down over 22% at one point this morning, pre-market, as Gary Gensler was speaking on CNBC. I was watching as I was getting ready. Now down about 13.5%, so well off the lows near the highs of the session. I don't know what that means, but we'll dive into this. So what happened? Well, yesterday, let's go back a day to yesterday. The SEC came out and said they're going after Binance, which is another very large exchange, but doesn't really do much business here in the United States due to regulations. So we really didn't see too much action from that, but Coinbase did fall 9% on that yesterday and Monday. We did see Bitcoin pull back on that news as well. And I got to tell you, I didn't think we would see within 24 hours them come right after Coinbase right after that. So this is what the SEC is saying, basically, that Binance, we'll do Binance first here quickly. Binance unlawfully offering three essential securities market functions. They're acting as an exchange, acting as a broker-dealer, and a clearing agency on the Binance platforms without registering with the SEC. They're acting as all three without registering the SEC. Obviously, if you're going to act as a true exchange of securities, that's a gas right there, or as a broker-dealer, I owned a broker-dealer, I sold it, or as a clearing agency, you must register with the SEC. We get that. The problem herein is that, and I'm not sticking it for Binance, I'm not sticking it for Coinbase, the rules as to what is a security are not clear from the SEC. So until they're clear and they actually come out and state some of these tokens, these coins, are securities, I don't believe you're doing anything wrong, according to some of these complaints. And keep in mind, the SEC has been on a rampage as of late. Since this January, they've gone after Kraken, Genesis, Gemini Trust, and they've gone at them with saying that they're offering unregistered securities to investors. And they gave Coinbase a Wells notice a month or two ago saying that you're under investigation. I didn't think it would happen. I thought they'd figure something out. But, you know, when somebody at the SEC wants to make a name for themselves, or maybe these orders are coming down from somebody bigger in the government, you do it. That's kind of where we stand with Binance. Binance is a bit of a different beast because they are the largest crypto exchange in the world, but again, not a big player in the United States. The SEC also came out and alleged Binance and their co-founders, CZ, that they commingled. It means they put money together, billions of dollars. So that means they took their investors' funds. So if I was investing, buying cryptos on Binance, taking my money, commingling it with their own, that to me is highly, highly dangerous. That's more like FTX stuff. And if that's true, they should be in a lot of trouble because that is extremely dangerous and illegal. I get that. There was a suit by the CFTC earlier this year that against Binance that said the same thing. So we've seen this kind of play out already. I think Binance, and this is, again, I have no skin in the game with Binance at all. I think Binance is in trouble. I do. And I don't know what happens. Nobody knows what happens, especially in this day and age. But I think they're definitely in trouble. Part of me thinks that CZ, the founder of Binance, would not be that stupid to commingle funds. I mean, they can make enough money just following the damn rules. But then again, what are the rules? They know not to commingle funds. The other stuff, the unregistered securities, is complete BS. But that's where I stand with Binance. I think they could be in trouble. But again, I don't think they care that much. They'll get out of the U.S. and they'll do business everywhere else in the world. And I'll get into why I think this is actually bad for the U.S. and the finance industry, but they'll move somewhere else. So when it comes to the Coinbase this morning, it's a bit frustrating. I'm trying to parse my words here because I don't want to say anything out of line, and I'm still doing my due diligence reading through the complaint, which of course is not easy to get through. But they're basically saying that Coinbase is acting as if they truly are like an exchange and offering up registered securities. But again, it's different what they're doing in Binance. There's a nice quote by Oliver Rennick. He's from, I think, TD. He said, the difference between Binance and Coinbase suits seems to be that Binance is doing FTX style deception, which is called wash trading, general malfeasance, while Coinbase more negligently facilitating behavior that probably knew was illegal. Example, do and ask forgiveness. I don't know if I agree with all that, but it's a good tweet in the fact that I do think Binance, of course, at least according to the reports, are doing a lot worse things than Coinbase. My big thing with Coinbase is this. 2019, they went public on the NASDAQ. Who regulates you and allows you to go public? The SEC. 2019, 2023, folks. 4 years. Obviously, they did due diligence for years before that, before they went public. So the SEC is known about what Coinbase has been doing for a very long time. If they did their due diligence, the SEC, they approved a company that now they're saying is doing illegal things in a market that they regulate. But they approved them to go public. They've been overseeing them for the last 4 years. It's bullshit if you believe that it takes 4 years to come up with this. Why is the SEC not being held here? To put their feet to the fire. Because if what they're saying is true and Coinbase is breaking laws, then the SEC allowed it. The SEC approved Coinbase to go public. They knew their business inside and out, or at least they should have. And if they didn't, Gensler and everybody at the SEC should be fired. You can't play both ways. Listen, folks, this industry is full of hypocrites everywhere. I've worked with many of them. There's hypocrites everywhere in this finance industry. Part of the business. But now we have not only the hypocritical people in this business that gives it a bad name, we have the people on TV that are the biggest hypocrites in the finance industry. And now we have the regulators. They're supposed to be looking out for as they say, the little people. You and I, us. They're supposed to be looking out for us. And now they're hypocrites as well. So I don't see this ending well for anybody. This is going to be drug on for years because from Coinbase's side, they have a great argument. You never told us the rules. We've asked for rules. You have not given us any. Now you're going to say we had registered securities, but you never told us they were registered securities. It doesn't make any sense, folks. It makes no sense. And some people may say I'm one-sided because I invest in cryptos. I do. And I believe in Bitcoin and some of the other tokens. That's not why. I'm irritated, frustrated, angry because we have a regulatory system that is broken. We have the SEC wielding their big stick, just happen to be doing their TV rounds this morning on CNBC, then Bloomberg, smiling like they just won the World Series. And all they're really doing, the people they think that they're helping, the people that invest in Coinbase stock or invest in Bitcoin, knocking the price down and hurting people. They're not helping. They're not. Go after, there's so many bad people in this industry. Go after the bad people. They have this fixation on crypto for whatever reason. And the crazy part is, look up Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC. Google him and type in Bitcoin or crypto. And look at the videos from years ago. Look at the difference of what he said then and what he's saying now. Again, hypocritical behavior. It's very, very dangerous when you have people in power that think like that. And I'm typically not the type of person who's a conspiracy theorist or worries about the government coming in and taking my money one day or taking my land. Hell, I live in Nicaragua. I'm not worried about that. I want to enjoy life and live it. I'm not worrying about the things that the odds are very small it ever happens. Could it happen? Yes. It's just not who I am. But days like this, when you have a regulatory body in the United States pulling this crap, then going on TV and like smiling about it, that's scary. That is very, very scary. And I don't know if it's tied government or not. I don't know if the SEC is getting orders from the government or not. I don't know. Talked to a friend down here. Nicaragua is a big crypto expert. And we're talking about this morning. And he said, you realize U.S. governments use Coinbase to sell coins, to sell Bitcoin. Like, get the hell out of here. It's not true. So I looked it up. And then, as of March 25th of this year, the U.S. government held over 205,000 Bitcoins worth about $5.6 billion, which is just over 1% of the circulating supply of Bitcoin. A lot of them came from forfeitures and seizures from different things, Silk Road, and different companies they've gone after, they've taken and they've seized it. However, there's also reports all in there that they have moved some of that money over to Coinbase. This very exchange that the SEC is going after to move some of their being held in Coinbase, in a Coinbase cluster. I have not been able to 100% verify it. I have a lot of good sources here. So again, I'm just saying that I've been verified 100%. I have good sources and reading from a lot of people I trust. And it wouldn't surprise me. And if that is true, again, sometimes I wake up and I read things, I hear things, days like this, folks, and I honestly feel like I'm in a really horrible movie, that this stuff can't be happening in this real world. And it is. So again, I don't know how this ends. I know this is going to cause a major war between people who believe we should have the right to invest in cryptocurrencies versus people who want to wield the big stick and control everything you do. And I got to warn the government here in the SEC that there's a lot of people out there that are sick and tired of the people in power acting like this. And I think there's going to be a huge backlash. And not to get political, and again, I'm in the middle. I just want a good leader. I will say this I think bodes well for the Republicans, because they forget how many people own cryptocurrencies. I listened to a book yesterday. It came out a year ago. I think it's called How to Invest. And each chapter is on a different expert. Mike Novogratz, I listened to his chapter yesterday to Jim. And he brought something up, and this was before this happened. He said, they talk about regulation of Bitcoin. He's a big Bitcoin backer, obviously. He said that there's about 60 million people. Again, this was taken from a year and a half ago. I don't know the number right now. 60 million Americans own some type of cryptocurrency. And maybe it's true, maybe it's not. It sounds kind of high. Either way, what point he was making is that's a lot of voters. So the fact that you're scaring the hell out of people, anybody who owns crypto today, does not bode well for the current administration. So if anything, this is bad for the Democrats, in my opinion. It's just, again, it's wielding too much power. People who own this want to get away from the U.S. dollar, diversify away from gold. And this is kind of taking people back. No, here's the dollar. Trust the dollar. We're going to take the value over the last 110 years from $1 to a penny. It's okay. That's not a scheme, but these are schemes. It's just, again, it's like living in a banana republic. Some days I just don't know what the hell's going on, if I'm upside down or if I should wake myself up from a really effed up dream. But I will tell you, folks, to wrap up here, I'm going to keep you abreast of what's going on. Again, I've only had an hour of time to dive into this, trying to watch Gensler's interview, trying to listen to people, trying to read it. I need to do more research on this, but there's a lot that's going to be uncovered, I think, in the days, weeks, and months ahead. And I don't think Bitcoin's done. I think some of these small cryptocurrencies, but I said that forever. When you have thousands and thousands of tokens, we don't need thousands of tokens. You'd maybe need 50 at the most. So I think Coinbase probably comes out stronger. Coinbase. Bitcoin comes out even stronger on the other side. Coinbase, I don't know where it ends up, but if they shut down Coinbase, that's going to be a major issue, because how the hell are you going to trade your cryptos? And again, the SEC approved them to go public. The SEC has been regulating them since 2019 when they went public, and now suddenly they decided to go after them. So unless this was a 4-year-long investigation and they let them go public as a ruse, which I highly, highly doubt, the SEC really effed up here. And I hope, everything is figured out, and I hope everybody comes whole and the right thing happens. And I'm not quite sure what that is yet, but I hope the right thing happens. So we'll keep you up to date. Coinbase now down 13.5%, just where it was before when I mentioned it. We take a look at Bitcoin above 26,000 now. It's bounced quite a bit in the last couple hours after the news, believe it or not. It's probably up. It's up about 2% in the last hour. So interesting times, folks. All that being said, keep your head up, enjoy life. You can't get angry at this stuff because there's nothing you can do. You can't change the SEC's decision to come after Coinbase today. So just to go out there, spread love, smile, and let's make the world better, one person at a time. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Matt McCall, and that was Making Money.
Opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the contributor and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Stansberry Research, its parent company, or affiliates.